Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of OEM TV. I'm Eric Mills with Microsoft. I do Windows Server marketing here. And in this video, Ken is going to show you what it looks like to connect up your Windows Server Essentials server up to an Azure virtual network. Now there are a lot of good reasons to do this that Paul covered in the previous videos, but Ken's actually going to take you step by step and show you what it looks like. As you know, Windows Server Essentials is a great first server operating system. It has a limit of 25 users, and Microsoft Azure is Microsoft's public cloud. So using the software built into Windows Server Essentials and Azure, you can connect the two together. And that gives you really the best of both worlds. You get all the speed, security, and snappiness and reliability of that on-prem server that you love with unlimited expandability and access to a ton of resources within Azure. So there's a lot of great reasons to do this. Ken's going to take you step by step and show you what it looks like to set up that site-to-site VPN connection using Windows Server Essentials, and just go through and make sure everything is connected properly so that you know that it's going to work well. So it's a short video. There's a lot in it, but I hope you get a lot out of this and are able to connect up that Windows Server Essentials hardware server up to Azure and get the best of both worlds. So I hope you enjoy the video. We'll see you next time on OEM TV.
This video focuses on demonstrating the integration of Windows Server 2016 Essentials Edition with Microsoft Azure Virtual Network. With Azure Virtual Network, we have the ability to extend our on-premises server and domain infrastructure into the Microsoft Azure cloud and run additional virtual machines there without buying any new hardware. Azure Virtual Networks are perfect for running backup virtual domain controllers, replicating file shares via DFS to the cloud, hosting line of business applications, publishing remote apps, and more. It can also be your first step towards using Azure as a secondary disaster recovery site. For this demonstration, we are running Windows Server 2016 Essentials Edition and a virtual machine running on a local server. You also have the option of running Windows 2016 Essentials natively on a local server. For Windows Server Essentials integration with Microsoft Azure Virtual Network, a Microsoft Azure 30-day trial or full subscription is required. Integrating Microsoft Azure Virtual Network with Windows Server Essential starts in the same manner as configuring other Azure services via Wizard in the Windows Server Essentials dashboard. The Windows Server Essentials dashboard is part of Windows Server 2016 Essentials Edition and is automatically installed as part of the Windows installation and accessible via this shortcut on the desktop. So let's get started. First step is to verify remote management is enabled on your server so that you are allowing remote management features or your wizard will fail. You can find this setting by opening Server Manager. So we'll go down here and I'll open up Server Manager. And then we're going to look at local server here on the left, and then in the right pane here under remote management we see that it is currently disabled. So we're going to go ahead and select disabled, and then we're going to select the checkbox saying enable remote management of this server from other computers, and then go ahead and click OK. Now that that's enabled, our next step then is to open up the Essentials dashboard. So we'll come down here, and I already have it here, and what we're going to do there then is come over here on the left side, select Services, and then we're going to go ahead and select Azure Virtual Network here in the middle, and then click on Integrate with Azure Virtual Network. Now we're prompted to sign into our Azure subscription. If we don't have one, we can click on one of the links at the bottom here to either sign up for a free trial or go ahead and create one for a new full Azure subscription. I already set up my Azure subscription prior to this, so I'm just going ahead and click on Sign In. I go ahead and enter my Microsoft account information, and then we're going to click in Sign In. After successfully logging into Azure, the next screen asks us which subscription we want to associate with the Microsoft Azure Virtual Network. And here you see I have my pay-as-I-go, and I'm going to go ahead and click Next. In this next step, be aware that this is only asking you the name of the remote and local networks, not to provide an IP scheme. It will figure that out on its own. You can also pick a location. This will determine which data center region to use for your virtual network. So here you see I've already entered Azure VN1 for my Azure Virtual Network, and for my local network it's local N1, and I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to select East US, and then we'll go ahead and click Next. This next step is where we have a choice to make. We can either let the Essential server handle the site-to-site VPN connection. It will use the Remote Access RAS feature built into Windows Server, or we can choose to configure the connection from our own on-premises firewall and router. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to let the Windows server be our connection endpoint. So we'll take the default here and then go ahead and click Finish. Now here we can review the configuration, and then we'll go ahead and click Close. Notice that it automatically configured an Azure Virtual Network address space outside of the detected on-premises address space. Now we see a new plugin has been activated for Azure VNet. As you can see, the virtual network still has a status of configuring. While it's configuring, let's go check out the Azure Portal. We're now logged into the Azure Portal, and we see that our virtual network has been added. As you can see here, Azure VN1. We also have our Azure VN1 connection and our gateway. Let's go ahead and click on Azure VN1, and we'll see more details. Here we can see the details up at the top here with all the information about our subscription, the DNS servers, address space. We also see we have our Azure VN1 gateway down below here. Let's go ahead and click on that and look a little bit more behind that. Here you can see additional information on the virtual network, public IP address, and so forth. Now let's click on the Azure VN1 group, and we'll see all the components that make up this virtual network. And here we see the actual virtual network, Azure VN1. We see the connection, Azure VN1 connection, the virtual network group gateway, as well as the public IP address and the local network gateway. So we can see that we're completely configured up here in the Azure. Now let's just go back and check on our dashboard, Essentials dashboard, and see where the status has changed there. So we'll switch back over to here, and we now see that we went from configuring to connecting, but we also have a lot more information here distributed underneath the Azure VNet tab within the Essentials dashboard. So we see the local network name, we can see the local public IP addresses, the subscription information, and the Azure Gateway IP address. So that's just a little overview of getting started with integrating Azure Virtual Network with the Essentials dashboard. Thank you.